Sure you don't want to eat? I got a little turkey left.
No, no, thank you, dear. Johnny, please, don't get up.
He about
I'm
to
off to
pull some
physical
stupid
therapy,
shit.
hon.
Now he talking to New York.
Used to be some hoofer, poor thing. Takes a terrible toll on the joints.
You heard what he did with Thanksgiving? Will you please tell me what I did to this guy? I'm earning with 3 hands here, and it's still not good enough to satisfy this cocksucker. And then he fucking hits me? He's not leaving me a lot of options here.
Don't talk crazy. You want to commit suicide, pills are a lot easier.
What do you think Carmine would say if I wanted to switch families? Come with you guys.
Carmine doesn't know who you are.
You could tell him.
I know Tony can be difficult. His father was the same, his uncle. They always need someone to demonize. But New York and Sopranos have long-standing ties, and that's not going to change. Not for you or anybody else.
That's crazy that he would
You want me
even
to be frank?
do that.
You brought this on yourself with that girl.
A, she was a hooah. B, she hit me. That wasn't my kid she was carrying. It was the fucking coke. I should have never started with that shit.
Tony, I'm sorry.
Fuck that, what good would it do?
It might save your life. He was wrong, believe me, he knows.
You don't think I know people are laughing behind my back?
Talk to Tony. I'm sure he'll make it right. Would you take Capo of your crew?
No, I wouldn't, no fucking way.
Ralph Cifaretto came by. He's running scared since you canceled that dinner.
Your opponent is of choleric temper. Irritate him.
Yeah, well, he wants to apologize. Would that put this to rest?
If it's sincere, it might relieve me of a very unpleasant decision.
You know, they're about to break ground on the Esplanade. Talking about millions of dollars here, Tony. Wouldn't hurt either of us to have a point man in there who feels appreciated. Wouldn't hurt to throw him a bone. Capo?
No fucking way. Never. You heard what he did. That poor girl just had her 20th birthday.
Capo's what he mentioned. I threw cold water on it right away. But she was a whore, Tony.
You know, I don't want to talk about that situation ever again with anybody. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you say you weren't going to stick your beak in?
Right.
Can't two friends talk?
I'm actually surprised he went and talked to him.
That's great. That's fucking great news.
He just trying to make sure this
What'd I tell
deal stays
The
going
other thing,
smoothly.
What's he gonna do to make that right?
Just talk to him. He indicated he's very open to working something out.
Listen, you find yourself short on X. I know a guy. That bullshit your future father-in-law pulled over Thanksgiving, he knew I had no intention of going over there. He's trying to save face. So he stooped so low, he had his wife lie to your mother.
Why are you talking to him
Whatever you
about
need,
that?
give me a call.
He's such
You
a
good?
bitch, man. Fuck are you talking to somebody who's basically a child still about that?
The woman is 50 years old. Sometimes I just want to scream in her face. Quit whining. No wonder he left you. Her supervisor looks at her cross-eyed, and I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Does she call your emergency number?
No, that's not the point, Elliot. Oh, these fucking interruptions.
You have feelings of your own, and who is listening?
I have to sit there and take care of these people hour after hour with all their problems. And some of them are very real and very serious. And I'm sorry. I care, I really do. But it's hard sometimes. I just want to say, I hurt.
You've been through such trauma. It takes tremendous strength of will and inner resource to soldier on as you do at your work. Patient Soprano, how's all that?
He offered to escort me to my car. I almost fell in his arms crying.
Yeah, exactly. That was right there underneath the surface. Because it's like, what are the chances that he would ask her to, you know. Shout out to Paulie patting him down. Doing a secret pat down. You see that? He was like, right here, right here, right here. Okay.
You want to see me? About what?
You know, to apologize. So. I was doing a lot of coke. I said some things and I did some things that I'm sorry for. It's not gonna happen again.
What'd you do?
I was rude when you offered me to drink. And I disrespected the Bing and the girl. That shouldn't happen. Like I said, I was doing a lot of coke. I gave that up and end the story, and I'm sorry, Tony. Okay?
Anything else?
God. I was wondering how this is gonna go. I'm like, yo, if Tony just doesn't respond or responds a certain way, there's no coming back from it at that point.
After decades of planning, ground was broken today on the city
See,
of Newark,
that's
New
what
Jersey
he's
Museum
worried
of
about.
Science and
So he don't
Trustee,
care.
and
He'll
got
tell each side what they did.
He gave me nothing.
The fucking Esplanade, finally. We need our own bulldozers to take the money away.
Not a thank you, not an apology, nothing. Cocksucker didn't even invite me to sit down.
It's posturing. It's part of the game.
Fuck the game, he's going down. Oh, what are you fucking stupid coming in here talking to me
Right,
like that? I
exactly.
don't give a fuck anymore. I've given my life to this thing. And this is the thanks I get?
Yo, he's stressed out. Wait a minute. Is he gonna die?
It's Silvio Dante on the phone. You want to talk to him? Tell him I'm calling back.
I don't know why, because, you know, this show has, like, that sort of dark humor to it. So I'm like, dog, if he dies on the toilet, because they've been signifying he's stressing. Now he's constipated. You know what I mean? This man might have a heart attack or some shit. And then what? Guess who's back to basically be the de facto leader of the crew?
Watch some leftover turkey and stuffing. When I go.
Keep it. Everything goes through me. And these drafts, I should be down in Boca.
Drafts. It's like the fucking Amazon jungle in here. What's the thermostat say?
Don't touch it!
Grandpa, you ever work for somebody named Trillo? He owned a lumber yard.
My father was a master stonemason. He never cut fucking wood.
A contractor then.
There was somebody named Trillo. He had 7 daughters. I can't remember. I thought you were going to ask my advice about Ralph Cifaretto.
He's keeping his ears to the streets.
Got any thoughts?
What else do I have left? Real contrimps you have on your hands here. A good kid, but you never should have put Gigi in there.
Strong, good earner, well respected.
Not by that crew. To them, he's a gibbeline coming over to butt in. They don't trust him. They undermine him. On top of that, you got Ralph now pissing in their ears.
Right.
Any day, you'll have a mutiny on your hands.
So I take Gigi out. What kind of message is that send?
That you're indecisive and unsure of yourself.
Exactly. What the fuck would I replace him with anyway?
All good questions.
Great. What's the fucking answer?
Who says there is one? That's what being a boss is. You steer the ship the best way you know. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes you hit the rocks. In the meantime, you find your pleasures where you can.
How much longer, Skip?
He's
I
dead.
gotta take a leak.
He's dead. That actually ends up helping them. Tony found a way out.
Jesus.
Yep. Died on the fucking toilet. Yeah, man, this is a good show.
He's a good man. Never said a bad word about anybody.
Yeah, it hit me when he was on the toilet struggling. I was like, oh shit, they did signal his stress and all that. Yeah, he's out of there.
It's fucking awful. He's a young man.
Heart disease. The silent killer.
Hey.
Maybe lay back on the cheese and carbs.
Even still, I'm the pisha dude. Pretty fucking humiliating.
So is a vacancy. There's a lot of business to do.
You thought about who it's gonna be?
Yeah, he's almost on the way out. Man, sweating while he's sitting down. Look at him, he looks crazy. That dude, he don't look like he take nothing serious. The man was like had a smirk on his face when his boss. And then this dude who's itching to be the leader, who's a great earner, but he's a piece of shit in every possible way. Yeah, I like this episode a lot.
Terrible. It's a terrible thing.
It's partly your fault,
was in
Artie.
here twice a week.
Yeah, of course. Of course. He was in there twice a week. Feeding him this rich, savory food all the goddamn time.
Making you captain.
You are? That's great. Oh, that's fucking great. Anthony, you're not gonna be sorry. Thank you. I need to hear it was merit.
Oh.
And not just because somebody was constipated and blew a gasket.
You're gonna be making a lot more money, Ralphie. So don't question. You want a captain? You're captain.
God damn, yo.
Thank you, Tony. You're right.
You know what they say? Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
We're gonna have a drink together or what?
The little short note, like. He's making sure he knows it's because somebody was constipated and blew a gasket. They make no question about it. He do not fuck with you. Okay.
I don't know if it's even a smart thing. She's Tony Soprano's daughter. Fucking brat. Meadow! God damn it! Hey, no! Meadow!
Fuck was Meadow doing?
God,
what
Meadow.
the fuck? I know he's supposed to be worried about her, but all I'd be thinking is, oh my God, Tony's gonna fucking kill me. I'm like, please tell me she ain't got no bruising. You got any bruising? Right? Oh God. A slight concussion we could take.
Your car.
Fuck the car.
Fuck was Meadow doing?
Jiggy, I am so sorry.
As long as you're okay.
Oh.
I don't know what I would have done if you would have got hurt.
He found his way. He found his
You
way.
almost died.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, let's get you home.
No. I want to go with you.
I ain't take Meadow to be goofy as fuck like this. Get a hold of yourself. I almost called out a name. You feel me?
It's you.
I had my eye on one of these.
You have good taste.
What if I take it for a test drive?
You have to be accompanied by a sales rep.
Anybody available?
Dale?
Yeah.
I'm going out.
I can't remember the way that Uncle Junior worded it, but he said something about like, and in between that, you find the pleasures in life or something like that, simple pleasures, and that's what he's doing.
Everything all right?
Yeah, fine.
Well, that was wine coolers.
She's like, is that what I think it is?
I'm glad you called. Do you want to reschedule?
No, it's okay. I'll just see you next week at the regular time.
So there's something I would like to point out that I noticed specifically in this episode that has been taking place over time. And it's this. With Tony picking up and thereby Paulie and Silvio gaining more responsibility, and also with what they had to do to Pussy, if you notice, they're very serious. All that joking and, doing shit from The Godfather and Paulie telling jokes, you'll see that. But a lot more now what we're seeing is Paulie is much more militant. You see how he is with Chris. You see how he is immediately. He like, hey, we need to take this motherfucker out. Like, his whole thing is we not playing no games about this. And the fact that they made it to where they made it to as a crew, nah, he not, he got his boys, he got all his boys back, but especially Tony, the skipper, as they call him, right? And then you got Silvio, who is dope, right? Because I'm not sure if how much a consigliere is was made up for movies. What I'm saying is, I know it's a real role, but what I mean is its importance, right? Because in the films, they'll have you believe it's like a big, super big thing. As of right now, Silvio, it gives Tony a lot more advice than anybody else, right? That's one of his guys, right? And I just was not expecting him to be so much a part of the decision making as such, right? Because he's an underling. But the thing that I didn't take into account is Paulie and Silvio, they've been in this for a while and they survived. A bunch of people got put down around them. I believe Paulie did some time. I'm not sure about Silvio, but you get what I'm saying? They put in a lot of work. So they experts at this. They're masters of this. And which are two different things, right? So they've put in work and they've also just sort of soaked in everything about the game. And to see them at work, right? That scene where Tony and Silvio are whispering at the table, it was like, oh, this is some high level decision making right here. And then that leads into Ralphie. It was dope. I don't have a, like, you know how I don't like Janice, or I didn't like well, I can't think of his name right now, but there's certain characters where, okay, I just don't like him, or we just don't like him. Ralphie, I don't feel that way about. Him, I'm indifferent, but not indifferent because he doesn't mean anything. I'm indifferent because, yes, while he is a scumbag, I do, and he's dumb and he does a bunch of dumb shit. When it comes to the work, I do understand his tendency to feel like he's being looked over. Whereas with Chris, he was bitching and complaining, but he had to understand the time frame he was in, and like they can't just let anybody in. So hey, just deal with it. But the thing that's different with Ralphie is he's a made guy and he's putting in a ton of work for a crew that really should have fallen off at this point, right? Like their crew used to be on top, then they kind of fall off because their guy who was in charge, he dies of cancer. Then the brother comes out, he takes control back of the crew, and we saw what happened with him. But then you got Ralphie, and he's doing this without captaincy, which means he's not getting broke off as much as he could be getting broke off. He doesn't have the clout that he probably should. So that's what I'm saying. As much as Ralphie is a scumbag and a piece of shit, and that shit he pulled with the girl, in the context of the show, right? Of course, that was some vile, wicked shit. The motherfucker should be punished in some way for that. But in the context of the show, I'm saying Ralphie is, I understand where he's coming from. There's no way you could rightfully be like, hey, I don't want to bring you up. Until he does what he does in that last episode. For sure, Tony now has a straight up reason. Now, they did something interesting with the show because they brought in the guy, what was his name, G? Who Tony has set over there to be his like eyes and ears. They spoke about him. They spoke about to have Uncle Junior lay down, and we're going to get to that because that was a dope scene because I spoke about Uncle Junior in the intro, so we're going to get back to that. But to see him come and they made it be known, oh, he's stressed. Like, he's stressed out. Because Tony asked him about stuff, and he goes on and on to the point where Tony's response is like, yo, I'll put you in charge for that. He's like, oh, I'm not complaining. You asked. But then he kept going. And then he started bringing up, I got kids going to college and all that. Then the constipated thing happened. And I'm like, while he's sitting on the toilet, I'm like, oh, shit, he's going to die. Now, the ramifications of that are interesting. Why? Because in order to make this right, there was only one thing that could make it right because he hit a made guy and embarrassed him. And the only way you get rid of that issue that you're going to have of this embarrassed guy is you're going to have to take him out. But you don't want to do that, right? And so when Tony sat down with his Uncle Junior gave him straight facts. He said, basically, yo, you have a guy over there now, nobody respects him. He's like, yeah. Okay. Then he goes, well, if I take him away, how does that look? And Uncle Junior says, indecisive, right? Like you're going to look like an idiot. And then Tony is basically like, so what the fuck? And he's like, and there is no good answer. Uncle Junior's like, there is no good answer. That's what this is. You steer the ship as best you can, and then you go to try to find the pleasures. And that's what this episode was. Uncle Junior saying that's exactly what this episode was Tony trying to steer this ship, and then he went and found him the chick who worked at the Benz dealership or whatever. Man, she was like, yo, you see that? She had that sheer shit on when she was at the doctor's office. I was like, ew. But anyway, the thing about this was I like that they focus so much on Ralphie. Ralphie going to the guy from New York, because I was wondering how the guy from New York, how that thing was going to go. Because I'm like, I don't think he wants to butt in. He doesn't look like he's devious and nothing like that. And he made it clear. We do not want static with the Sopranos. New York has had great dealings with the Sopranos. We're never turning on them. Not for a motherfucker like you, Ralphie. And so for him to even ask that, this how cool of a dude that is. He could have went and told Tony about that, like, hey, this motherfucker was trying to flip to our crew. Right? But he held off. Why? Because they're going to make millions off of this thing that they got going. That's this building. The building of this zone or whatever. Right? And because they're going to get all the contracts, and they're going to spread them around the families. And so he's like, nah, I don't care. We need this settled. So it's interesting to see the guy from New York. He basically told them both what they needed to hear to get them back into a room. And Tony still is like, no, fuck out of here. And then the problem gets solved for him by the captain dying. And so you got Tony, Silvio, and Paulie sitting there, and they're like, well, who can it be? And it just goes, as I said, the big guy, you already see him. He's sweating while he's sitting down. He's almost on the way out of here. You got one guy, he looks goofy. You got another guy who we know for sure is goofy, just his response to things. And then Ralphie, who looks silly as fuck, who acts dumb than a motherfucker, who is a issue when it comes to just how things are within the family. But that man's a good earner. So Tony sat him down. He bumps him up to captain. And I also, as much as I was like, oh, fuck no, I understood why Ralphie would say to Tony, just let me know it's of my own merit, not because a constipated guy blew a gasket. And he told him, listen, you about to earn more, like fucking just take it. And then my man was like, hey, can we do that drink now? And Tony just shakes his head and walks off. He wants to make sure he knows he didn't get it out of his own merit. Right? And it was interesting that Tony spoke about The Art of War and how everybody else had been reading Machiavelli, right? Because in their line of work, it's political, but then there's also these sort of war movements that have to take place. And you could understand why a bunch of Italian folks would be reading Machiavelli and trying to learn how to move amongst everybody. So when a guy comes and he comes with The Art of War, which is all about me doing me without anyone being privy to it, unless I so choose, and if I do choose for them to be privy, it's all a part of the plan. It's going to be interesting to see how much further that goes throughout the show. Like they mentioned The Art of War, I feel like they're hinting at stuff that's going to happen throughout the episodes. Dr. Melfi, I was just about to ask while she was speaking to Tony, I wonder, because I didn't know how to word it. I didn't want to just say what came of the rape thing. Like that sounded weird. So I just let it play out. And when Tony offers her to walk to the car, she played it how she played it, regular smile and all that. But we knew, all of us knew. In my mind, yeah, she was smiling like that, but I understood. And as she said later, she almost fell into his arms crying because he don't know how much that means to her and the reasons that means that much to her. And yo, she's stressing out. She's doing her work, but it was interesting to see her complaining about other clients and stuff like that. But she has to deal with her issues also, and I want to see how that takes place. This whole thing with Ralphie was interesting. Like I said, what they do with the political angle of this, they're not just doing things that we've seen before. They're treating these people all as humans, not as gangsters. Everything they were doing, from the conversations they were having about Thanksgiving, from the conversations they were having about just the sandwiches that his wife made, all of this stuff, what's his name, G, him talking about how much stress he's under and dying from the stress. And then Tony dealing, we already know the whole show is about Tony dealing with his shit, but Ralphie, I feel like, is, because, let's put it this way, Chris's thing was, I want to be made, I put in all this work, blah, blah, blah. Then he makes it, and it wasn't what he thought it would be. He's just back on the bottom rung of being a made guy. But Ralphie is a made guy, and he's making a ton of money for a lot of folks, and he was getting no respect. But the thing is that I like to see, who knows how real that apology was. Like, it seemed sincere. It really did. And even how he went and talked to the dude from New York, Ralphie, how he went and spoke to the guy from New York, it seemed he was sincere about, yo, it was the coke, I got to stop doing that. Or he could just be cop and please and trying to, get his way out of the situation by saying what everybody wants to hear. But yeah, man, hey, another dope episode, next episode. I sounded crazy there. Next episode.